We're gonna do a song that you never heard before. The volume.
Here they come and get wicked. Here we go again.
It's Kennedy, my brother from another mother.
What's good, bro?
Hey man, have you been keeping up with these floods that's been going on out in Central Texas, bro?
Just a little bit now, especially since I just came from Texas and I was getting phone calls while I was out there. People was checking to see if we were good. And I again on vacation, you're not checking for the news or whatever. So yeah, I've been keeping up. I know the last that I checked, there was roughly around 100 people that had got caught up within that. And somebody, one of our rules, was doing going for chemo and came back and got stuck in a flood situation. So yes, it's affecting people. And yeah, I've been like I said, keeping up more since returning.
You know, the crazy thing about it is I thought that, oh, okay, you know what? Maybe I'm just, from because I'm from a distance. I thought, oh, some rain or whatever, whatever. And then when I started to see some of the pictures and videos that people from Killeen were posting, then it did make me want to go ahead and look at a little bit more. Man, it's just it looks unreal, bro, on how fast you see the water rising and everything like that. When you talk about flash flooding, I mean, it's very much flash flooding. And I think that for some of the areas when you talk about hill country and you when you really start to get into like the fact that certain places could be so flat that a couple of days of rain and then you kind of get some build up and it doesn't take much at all though, man. So yeah, it was real crazy though, man. But it's been one of the things. I've had a bunch of people who reached out to me as well, but yo, ain't this the area you from, Central Texas? I was like, yeah, not quite that central, but but it had a lot of people reach out though just to make sure the fam was good and everything. So absolutely though, bro, it's crazy though, man. Crazy to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, man, let's get the music popping off and we can check in on that 4th of July festivities and all the other things.
Let's do it.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
If you
of all time.
smell what the rock. It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time.
Yep.
And listen, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the Slash Brothers YouTube and Facebook pages. We are live on both platforms at the same time. You click on the notification, you click on the bell, you get the heads up whenever your boys is doing a thing. Ace Kennedy. 4th of July. Let's talk about it, bro.
Yeah, so like I said, I was out in Texas. We went down to North Texas, to Jellystone Park, which is Yogi Bear themed park. They had like a water park. It was a bunch of cabins. You can, if you have an RV, you can camp out there. If you got regular tents, you can camp out there. Real dope little setup, man. Myself, Sarah, Charlie, and then Samaya, her family, and then my sister and her family, and my parents. We all met down, had a good little time, man. Went down there Thursday, came back Sunday. No, came back Monday. So yeah. It was dope. Came back Monday. Came back Sunday. There we go.
Yeah, for me, I think that it was real kind of low key with all things considered. And that's just compared to previous years. I think that for us, the 4th of July is usually a big, big, big deal. It's like we probably have like maybe 3 times throughout the year that Father's Day weekend because that's usually my wife and all of her family's birthdays, basically, except for my sister. And then it's like, so you got that weekend. Then you also got 4th of July weekend, which is a big deal because it's kind of funny because my mother-in-law, the 4th of July, she grew up with it always being a big deal for her. And it was always a big deal for me. So we always had that commonality, bro. And so it's always been a big deal. And of course, you got Christmas, Thanksgiving, and whatnot. But so this time around, though, because we are just getting back off of, coming back from the funeral, not really being able to celebrate that June 18th Father's Day weekend like we typically would, we kind of fell back. I was like, all right, let's just decompress a little bit though, man. And so we had a small, very small gathering. And what's wild about it is that usually it's such a big deal that I had a bunch of people hitting me on up like, yo, what's the word? What's the word? Can we pull up and everything? And I felt a little like bad that I was like, not this year though, bro. But the one thing that was really cool though, man, is that I think that we kind of had like an official passing of the torch for the actual lighting of fireworks because my father-in-law was just like, listen, man, I'm not trying to keep climbing up this. He got this huge backyard, but you got to go up this little hill to get to it. So me and the young boys wind up coming on through, man, and doing it. And it was pretty fun. I always laugh because I tell people the best part about the fireworks is lighting them and running, right? It's like you can light them up and they look nice in the sky though, man. But when you're actually the person lighting. And I think it's that little bit of danger though that you face of lighting the fireworks on time though, bro. That does it. But I had a good time either way though, man. Ate good food. Still a traditional 4th of July, but not nearly as big as we typically do it though, man.
It's funny you say that traditional 4th of July because I know ever since, for some people, ever since President Biden made it official for Juneteenth, a lot of people, especially a lot of black people, have issues celebrating the 4th of July now that they're learning what Juneteenth means. And that's like should be the official Independence Day because that's when the last people found out that they were free. Uh so have you heard, or because I know, like I said, I've been hearing it a lot on my end where people are not really trying to celebrate the fourth like that. Like they're really boycotting wearing red, white, and blue. And like I said, the fourth is more like, okay, I got a day off, so I'll watch the fireworks, but celebrating it is kind of like, that's kind of a big, you know, I'm not doing that. So what's your thoughts on that?
Listen, I'm gonna be honest. I understand and respect anybody who don't want to celebrate it for their own reasons. For me, I'm a very celebratory guy. Like my boy Cinematic. Shout out to my boy Cinematic Visuals. He ran the Peachtree Road Race, and it was the biggest one that they did early. I mean, this one biggest one this year since 2019. And he did it. It's on the 4th of July. He did his thing. It was cool. We came out to support. That's one thing I want to add, by the way. But I think that the thing I get about the 4th of July is that listen, I'm celebratory and I'm somewhat of a traditionalist in the sense that no, I grew up celebrating 4th of July. I grew up celebrating Christmas. I grew up celebrating Thanksgiving. So if there's a celebration, I'm there for it. I can understand why somebody would, but I separate Juneteenth and celebrate Juneteenth in the same way that I would celebrate the 4th of July. So it's like for the Juneteenth, there to me, because so I think that 4th of July, there are certain things that go along with 4th of July. You think barbecues, you think fireworks. That's 4th of July to me. I think that Juneteenth to me is something that's its own thing. And I like the fact that Juneteenth is its own thing. You're celebrating to me two different things. I think that you're celebrating the United States independence from Britain versus you celebrating to me its independence as a people in terms of the last days of slavery and everything like that. That to me are two separate things. And I'm okay with celebrating and separating those things independently. But I'm also understanding that somebody else might not see it the same way, though, bro.
Now, how do you celebrate Juneteenth?
So for me, so I didn't. And to be honest, I didn't get an opportunity to celebrate Juneteenth like that, right? And I think that it was mainly just because I was we had the funeral, like the I went to a funeral on, I believe, Juneteenth though, bro. But usually I would celebrate Juneteenth with the barbecue. You know, I would celebrate it with a cookout. So almost the same thing. It's just I don't know, and maybe this is just me, but I don't associate the fireworks show with Juneteenth, right? So to me, it's like Thanksgiving, but in the middle of the year. So that's how I celebrate Juneteenth, though. But I don't celebrate it with fireworks, though. But yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because
That's
I
how I
mean,
look at it.
for us, we are very familiar with Juneteenth. We used to perform at Juneteenth celebrations
Yeah, absolutely.
back in Killeen. You know what I'm saying? Sequence used to always had we were a mainstay at the Juneteenth celebrations. And yeah, we've always celebrated it. So yeah.
I think that the thing that is interesting to me to see as an adult, to see Juneteenth, like, because like you said, growing up, we've always known about Juneteenth, right? And it's also because we grew up in
In
Texas, and I
Texas.
think that I don't know that Juneteenth. I didn't know Juneteenth wasn't as celebrated until I left Texas. Because when I
Right.
got to Georgia, I still knew people who didn't know what Juneteenth was whatsoever. And part of that to me is that maybe I'll give Georgia somewhat of a pass because in Atlanta, you have a lot of transplants. You have a lot of people who aren't from here, and seeing that you're in Texas, that's part of Texas history, right? So you learn that in school. And so, but I think that for me, I've always, been on it. Now, don't get me wrong. It wasn't celebrated the way that it is now as a federal or national holiday. Um, but I think that it's one of those things where people are still trying to figure out as a whole, how do you celebrate it? What does that look like? Because like in Texas, you might have the rodeos going on, you have the Juneteenth parade, you have the big. It's really like a pageant, though, bro. And it really is like we've always treated Juneteenth like it's a Black Fourth of July. And now that it's a national thing, it's like, well, how do we share this, with the peoples, though, bro? So yeah, 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 bro. But it is. I think that for me, personally though, I'm cool with keeping them as two separate things, though, bro. And I know how I celebrate Juneteenth, and I think that for the most part, though, bro, I don't celebrate it the same way, though, like I do the Fourth of July.
Okay.
Yeah, but you think about it too as well, because I didn't always live in Texas, but I always knew about Fourth of July. So it's like I had a tradition of celebrating the Fourth of July without Juneteenth before, because I didn't know about Juneteenth till I got to Texas, though. So it goes back like that for me, though. So I don't know. I get it.
What else we got? What you want to start with, should I say?
Let's see here.
Let's
What
start
was
with let's start with Diddles.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Why you call that man Diddles?
He the diddler, did he? I mean,
I hate the Diddler either way, though, man. But yeah, that's very. Listen, so the Diddy comes out. I mean, the results came in,
mhm.
and basically, the more severe of the charges, he was found innocent on. Right,
Yeah,
the
like so
ones that
racketeering.
the one, yes,
Racketeering
the
was not
racketeering,
guilty.
the RICO charges, right,
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
RICO stuff. The ones that he was
That
found
word
guilty
so
on
bad.
was what's that?
I hate that word so bad.
What's that?
Power made me hate the word Rico, bro. I hate that word
Oh
so
man,
bad. Uh
why?
why? Because they use it so loosely and it don't even mean the same thing. And they use it in every one of their shows. They use that word. And it just drives me up the wall hearing it. So yeah, I hate that word. But either way, he was
But
found
I think
guilty. He was found
he was
guilty of the
found
Mann
guilty.
Act for both.
Yes. So he was found guilty of providing the transportation for the prostitutions for the free calls, right? And that's the one thing that you and I said. When you throw that RICO net out there and you say, well, let's throw it against the wall and see what sticks, right? And these are the ones that stuck. And so then this is again where it's like you explained this on one of the episodes, because I was like, well, is it a crime that you're a freak? And then you said, well, hey, there's the prostitution aspect of it. Okay, well, you're paying for prostitution. So in Vegas, that wouldn't be that big of a deal. But once you start to pay the prostitutes to come from across state lines, then we're talking about something different. I don't know what kind of time is associated with that though, right? But I'd imagine that I'm willing to I'm willing, I'm not gonna say I'm willing to bet that I would be, not gonna say he's willing to bet. I would be very surprised, bro, if he got anything more than 2 years, if he had to do any time at all,
Okay.
bro.
So the max for each sentence is 20 years. Uh, and I think because he's a first time offender, they are shooting for around 4. So, and then I know Harvey from TMZ was saying he'd probably get around 4 years. He would get time served. He would get some other stuff. So he'll probably do like a year and then be free because he won't have to
Mm.
do the full thing. I think you got to do 70% or something weird like that.
80%, using 80%.
But yeah. So that the maximum I think is 20 years uh for the Mann Act. And then because he's a first time offender, and the other thing too is because they didn't allow him to get bail, so he didn't get to leave after that. He has to wait until the sentencing, which his team requested that the sentencing get expedited so that they could, begin doing whatever. And the prosecution did not disagree with that of them requesting an expedited sentencing. So, and
Mm.
either way, they said it's considered a win for Diddy because he beat the feds because they couldn't get, with all the resources and everything that they used, raiding his house and all the things that they found, and they only got him for the Mann Act, then it's kind of considered a win for Diddy because he was gonna get charged with something. Like they was gonna get him for something.
I think that this is the thing that this is the part that you and um I think that this is the part that you and I were very eh, on the fence about, because not to dismiss the aspect of the domestic violence part of it, right? That wasn't what he was being charged with. And so I said before the deliberation, I didn't see anything at all that criminally makes me believe that a RICO charge, like, this is the thing, I haven't seen a successful RICO case ever in my lifetime. And I could be missing some, but I'm thinking, when I think of RICO charges, I'm thinking of Al Capone. I think that maybe even like the Italian mob was charged with RICO. I've never seen them throw RICO out there. But when you go RICO, you're throwing all your resources out there and you're throwing the full net out there, right? And so I never, like, I felt horrible that all these things happened to Cassie, but that wasn't what he was on charge with. That wasn't what he was on stage with. So I'm like, if you're not putting him on the stand for those things, though, bro, it's like you can't, it's not a crime to be a freak. Now there could be some criminal aspects of it that he could be found, like that he would likely receive some punishment for, though, bro. But you can't just,
Yeah, but
if
where's
you're
the
not gonna.
enterprise aspect of it though? Like there was nobody else on trial but Diddy. Right now, there has been a countersuit since the verdict, with Cassie and him on it. One of the escorts that was paid is saying that there was a power struggle with Cassie as well. So she's also a co-defendant with Diddy on this new case. And he's basically saying the reason why he didn't come forward before was because of how much power Diddy had, whatever the case may be. So there is,
He also said he got an STD from them and throughout this freak off. And
and
this is the
that she
part
was
that I.
pregnant.
Whoa, wait, what?
Yeah, he also said that Cassie was pregnant with his child and had an abortion, and he also received an STI from her, allegedly. Those were the things that he also claimed.
See, this is, and here, this is one of the things I was talking with the research department on this, right? And I say, this is one of the things that's crazy, right? Someone could look at Cassie a certain way for being complicit at a certain point, though, right?
Mhm.
Like, I don't think that she deserved the physical altercations and everything like that, but based off of the text messages that they released out there, it's very easy for someone to put two and two together and say, you know what, at some point this was all right for her. And I can understand that, you could look at it and say, well, she was 19 and she was manipulated and she was this, that, and she was trying to do that. And I get that completely. But at some point, it seemed like she was straight. And so the fact that Homeboy is basically suing both of them, it's just like I don't like that he came out of the woodworks after the fact, though, man. And I get he might have his reasons. I'm just saying I don't particularly like it though, bro. But I'm just saying based off of his lawsuit, whatever the possibility of that is, and the testimony, while it doesn't paint Diddy and it doesn't do him any favors, it certainly to me doesn't do a whole lot for Cassie, in my opinion, though, bro. Even
Right,
though I don't, yeah,
but they're gonna say that it was still set up by like Diddy. That's the whole thing, is they're trying to say Diddy was the mastermind. Diddy was the one that initiated it, and she was carrying out his wishes. That's the way they were trying to portray it. So I don't like, even though I think this is one of those times where we always say that all things can be true. It is a perception of his that this is was the case, but there are extenuating circumstances that would lead to people saying that no, this was ultimately a Diddy thing that she was acting on behalf of.
mm,
So, but anyway,
yeah.
that is it for right now. He again is waiting sentencing, and we'll know more from that point. I think August 3rd is when sentencing is scheduled to be currently, but again, they are requesting expedited sentencing so we can figure out what's going on from that point.
The inmates applauded, roaring applaud for this dude, right? So I think that he might be getting treated all right while he's in there. I think that this is the bad part, because never mind the things that he actually did do, right? I think that people applaud this, right, and celebrate this because you very rarely see the opportunity where a black man actually goes is up on the feds, or up against the foundation, the man, right? And it's unfortunate that people are celebrating this as a victory for black people, bro. Without, like, they fastly forgot that he was putting them paws on this girl and all the other things.
Yeah,
But
but they weren't celebrating him putting the pause on her, because again, that's not what he was on trial for. And here's the
True.
thing. Again, I know what I'm about to say is going to be controversial, but let me get it all out. Cassie was paid for that portion. Okay. And again, that doesn't make it okay. That doesn't make it right. But I'm saying for that particular issue, she was paid for. She did her claim, and that's what she said she wanted. She didn't pursue, criminal
charges. Yep.
She pursued money, and she felt like that would help her move forward in her life. That's her choice. And that's what so that has nothing to do with what he was on trial for and why they were applauding him and saying that he beat the feds, because they were like, again, what he's tried for and what he was convicted of, that's what his peers felt that was the case. The stuff that the feds were trying to pin on him, I mean, we never want anybody, like, we want everybody to have a fair trial. We want everybody to not be convicted of what somebody's trying to put on you. Like, if you had some weed on you and it was your personal weed, and then they come out and say, no, you was out here trying to distribute, or you was out here trying to sell weed. Like, no. Two different things. I had weed because I want to smoke it. Not I was intending to sell it to somebody. That's what I'm saying. So again, being guilty of being a freak or wanted to pay somebody for services, that's on him, even though there are some, again, illegal ramifications with that still doesn't equal RICO and racketeering and being a mastermind of this, that, and the other. But at least that's what he was found guilty of. So
yeah, I'm with you. I don't think that's very controversial at all, though, bro. I mean, I think that it's a fact.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this. This is one thing I wanted to ask you. So let me switch gears on you, because I saw this come on up. This is the second. This is okay. Let me ask you this. So I recently saw people, especially in the TikTok world. I swear TikTok gets me every single time. But I've been seeing this as a thing that came up where the boy Drake had recently, posted a song, and I think I'm gonna tell you where I'm going with this. I saw that Drake posted a what was the name of the song that he dropped?
I know.
What did I miss? What did
What
I
did I
miss?
miss? Yeah.
What did I miss? He dropped What Did I Miss? But before he dropped What Did I Miss, one of the things that was interesting though, right? So he came out, had a little picture of him where he's out here ripped up, took the shirt off though, man, six pack out. I mean, the boy's out here cut up. And people were immediately like, yo, did you go out here and did you get did you get some ab work done? Like this don't look natural. You gotta be, and then people go down that rabbit hole of where they are now saying, oh, well, you got these before and after pictures, you got surgeons that are commenting on it and everything like that. So everybody's talking about it. But my question for you is this. I've seen what's the dude? Bandman Kev, who I've never heard any of his music, but I saw him say, yeah, I got lipo done. I work out, but there were certain parts of my body that I could never get rid of, the fat or whatever that was it. I've seen Funkmaster Flex go live or record him getting lipo where he was awake and everything like that. And what I'm wondering is this though, bro, is I think that it was a taboo thing because I don't know something about when it comes to hip hop that if that was like a thing you just didn't necessarily do. Like for a long time, I think Fabulous never fixed his grill because of that. Nas had the chip tooth for a long time, and you would say, "No, this is how I am." But is this like a new norm where it's now a more widely acceptable change from how I think people looked how you had to have a certain grit and hardcoreness or naturalness to you for hip hop though, bro, that we can just look at Drake and say, hey man, he got the money, he got the six pack. Yeah, we with it though, bro. It's all right. Is that cool now?
It's cool because here's the thing. For the longest time, movie stars and those type of celebrities had this type of work done, but it was just hush hush. Nobody talked about it. With this being 2025 and there's all type of enhancements, i.e. Ozempic, Wegovy, all of the other, aspects of how you can lose weight and stuff like that, bro, nobody, it's just something to talk about quickly and it's gonna go away. Like the thing is entertainment. They always used to say what sex sells or whatever the case may be.
Right.
And the thing is that it's 2025. There's so many other things that people focus on. It's gonna be old news quick.
I laugh because somebody pointed out I've seen Drake some videos of him working out, but it looks weird that his arms don't look big. He just got
Yeah.
this ripped up six pack. Like that's the only thing that looks chiseled. I laugh because then someone pointed out when they put together this reel, they pointed out Big Sean. I guess Big Sean had a song that he recently did as well. And in the video, Big Sean's walking around with his shirt off, looking like he's working out. Well, Big Sean looked kind of weird because he has this ripped up just six pack, right? But he still got like the dad bod love handles though, bro. Arms don't look any bigger at all. He just got like this regular person's body, and then got some fluff around it, but got a six pack. And I'm just like, I guess at least Drake did it the right way. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go do it, I guess go all the way. But I guess it's one of those things that I think that just is an interesting thing because we've associated this with women and we've accepted it for a long time with women. Like before Nicki Minaj came along, like now she's the blueprint about how people think women should look or how bodies should look. And so now you think like, okay, well now if all of it is doesn't have to be real, right? If you got guys out there with the Beijing now, if you got guys out there getting the hair transplants, if you got guys out here titting the beards, if you got guys out here, if nothing is real,
Bro,
bro.
it's worse than that. You got the people that's doing the rug top.
You got the whole man unit. A
Yeah,
whole man.
that's what I'm
Now
saying. Like,
I haven't seen any guy, any famous guy just say, you know what, forget it, bro. Let's go ahead. Like if I see Bun B come out here with a man unit, bro, I'm gonna lose it. Like if you've been bald now for 30, 40 years, and you pop out, and maybe if but like it's almost like how I saw Nori, how he got some braids now. And then, I guess Nori just said, "Nah, I ain't got no transplant. This is my hair. I just been cutting it bald for all these years." And now he pops up with a head full of hair, and he doesn't even look real though, bro. I'm blown away at the
Listen, bro, you can't
status.
take the money with you, bro. So if you listen, you can't take the money with you. And my thing is again, we've been watching these women change their hair. They been wearing wigs. They be doing this. They be doing that. Why can't the dudes do it? We've
I'm
been
really
we've been
I
accepting this for
expected
years,
different.
bro.
I've been we have been, but I've been expecting differently from the men because I thought that in hip hop, specifically in men, and that men should be the ones that's setting the tone and leading the way. But it just seems more and more like men are copying the women, and that's where I kind of got like for
Charlie,
me,
Charlie. For the
eh,
last 10 years, dudes been out here rocking man purses and skinnier jeans than jeggings. And you talking about you expected more from the hip hop men community?
I expected more. I listen, even when it comes to the man bags, I expected more than the purse. Because some of them, I like you get you a little sling back. I got that. That's cool. I understand that. You get you a little fanny pack. That's cool. I understand that. But when I see dudes out here shopping for whole purses, bro, I saw something that pop up on my feed where a girl gifted Gunner with a purse. And I think this was like a $10,000 purse. Right. And it wasn't like a little sling over bag. This was a whole big bag though, bro. And I'm just thinking like I hear Cardi B rapping about collecting Birkin bags. So now we got the dudes competing with the females on these kind of bags, so bro. Like, come on, bro. That I'll never be okay with that aspect of hip hop, bro.
But that's
Never.
what I'm saying. So if the staple marquee men in hip hop are doing that, what what are we gonna really say about the lipo and the six packs? Again, if you got the money to pay for it and you safe with it, I mean, hey, and here's the crazy part. You and I know somebody personally that got lipo done that just ain't, saying it publicly. And I ain't, that's on them. Because they was just like, yeah, don't tell nobody, but I got the lipo. I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, didn't even think nothing else of it.
I it's just like I guess I just thought that there was to be something like this kind of thing though makes me like okay, so like I've always been, we've always been big on Megan, right? And I think that one of the things that's always to me differentiated Megan from all the other girls was that there was the perception that she's been natural. And I'm gonna assume that she is, right? Natural in terms of this is her real body, this is her real cakes, this is it. But bro, like if she comes out and says, "Nah, this ain't all me, dog. I'm it. I'm over it. I don't even want to look at." I would listen. I would never look at twerking the same if Megan Thee Stallion said, "Now these cakes ain't all mine. I went to the doctor to get it." I would never look at it the same, though, bro. I don't even. I don't think that I even want to see another girl twerk at all if I ever heard that Megan's cakes wasn't hers, though, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, throw the whole thing out, though, bro.
Yeah. I don't know, bro. Like I said, I think it's light compared to everything else going on. It didn't even like it didn't move the needle at all for me. Like it really didn't.
As a bald guy, I'm okay with dudes saying, you know what, man, I'm about to go ahead and get this hair back, bro. If there was a time when you used to have 360 waves and you done went 10 years now, 15 years now without your old lineup, bro. Or even if you went through with the big hole in the back and you was like, yo, y'all remember when I had it. So it's not like I never did. I got to get it back. Boys got to take it back to 98. That part I can understand. If you were skinny, right, and somehow You just kind of over years, you just picked up some weight, and you're like, nah, I'm trying to get back down. I'm okay with the weight loss because that's healthy though, bro. But dog, I think that at some point, I'm not saying that there's a line that has to be drawn on what's acceptable. I just think that to me, the women are who sets what's acceptable, right? If the women are cool with it, then guys will do it or go with it. If the women go for it, it's always going to come back down to that, though, right? And that's where I'm like, I don't know who. If we're talking about pointing the finger, it's like, do we blame the women who aren't saying no, this is whack, or do we okay because they're not saying it's whack? So then that means that it's acceptable though, right? So I don't know, man. It's like I've always thought that though. Like it's gonna come down to what women accept, right? When everybody switched over to skinny jeans, the women were okay with it. No woman said nah that I knew of at
Now,
all as an
there was
overweight.
some that said something, but
But
again,
as a whole, as a whole,
yeah,
and so all the stuff that like it's always because it's all to get the attention of women at the end of the day. So if you're doing this and it does it, then it's like, all right, well, hell, I guess mission accomplished. Keep it going though, bro.
yeah. Let's get into this NBA free agency, bro. Got a lot of
Yeah,
movement going on.
the biggest
Well,
one
I
to you.
say a lot of movement, huh?
Yeah, what's the biggest one to you? When you now that it's all done,
Uh,
what's the biggest one?
I mean, the biggest one is still the KD, the Dame, and then right now the one on talks is uh Norman Powell. That one got a little bit of sting to it only because Kevin Love was kind of hurt by it. Uh, and then just like you predicted, because they listened to the Slash Brothers podcast, once the Dame thing was official, like, oh, you can do that, then the whispers started happening about Bradley Beal. So now he's like the next big, you know, trade topic of waiting for that shoe to drop for him to officially be bought out. You got teams lined up trying to get him. I guess you can say the DeAndre Ayton trade was a big deal. Not really. Like I think most people that I've heard talk about it say that it's not moving the needle for the Lakers with DeAndre Ayton. Plus, his off the court antics are popping up, so people don't really. They're basically saying like, "Listen, bro, this is your last opportunity. Like, if you don't do well in LA, you can kiss them big contracts goodbye. Like, this is it for you. Like, if you don't, you got other people that's in your class that are making that guap and you ain't because you can't act right in the locker room or you don't give your full effort or this is like what the second team that's kind of been like yeah he just ain't got it.
Listen, man, this is the thing I think. I think that where the Lakers messed up, and maybe this was never a possibility, but I think that the Lakers they needed a big man. I think that what they probably needed was someone like a Miles Turner, right? I think that I don't look at DeAndre Ayton and think he's a rim protector, and I think that's what they need. I think to be honest, the Lakers needed like a Kristaps Porzingis. I thought he would have been a perfect fit. Seeing that, I never thought that he was up for trade. But if you go do something like that, maybe the Lakers just didn't have the assets to get it, and maybe Aiton gives them the kind of contract that they can. But I don't think that. I think they picked him up because they needed a big.
Yeah,
So that's cool, but I
he was
don't
the
think
only
that
one
he's the
left.
kind of I don't think he's the kind of big that they needed that would move the needle that would put them over the hump or put them any closer. I mean, it gives them a body, but I think that like I said, I think he has plenty ability, like talent wise, but putting it all together has always been the big deal for him though, man. It's just like I don't know, bro. Like and I think that it's still the fact that he was the number one overall pick. Like I'm talking about like bro, like when I saw him play in college, I thought that it was a no-brainer that I'm like, yeah, he gonna be something. And when I'm watching him in the league, it's just like, all right, well, I know that you have the ability, but when you gonna turn it up? Like when you gonna actually do something? And at this point in his career, though, bro, it just seemed like if you ain't gonna do it now, then yeah, you could just be a role player or whatever. But no one thinks that a number one overall pick is gonna be a role player, and I think that's what he's turning into, though.
Yeah, I don't see him moving the needle at all, man. And of course, then that LeBron opted in to his deal, but a lot of people are speculating that he may end up asking for a trade because he knows that the Lakers are building for the future, which is more for Luca and not necessarily more for him. And LeBron's like, he knows that it is getting very close to the end and he wants to compete for a championship. And so if this roster can't shape up to start showing some potential, I mean, I don't know. Like, do the Lakers look better now than they did toward the end of the season last year?
No, they don't. And they don't. And this is the tough part with where if you're LeBron, because even if it's not even for starters, he has to ask for a trade because he has the no trade
A trade
clause,
clause.
right?
Right, right, right.
Yeah, but even if he asks for a trade, where do you think you're gonna go? And if you're another team, are you willing to give up what somebody might ask to get LeBron at this point in his career? Because here's the thing. They're not like the Lakers roster isn't like it wasn't a championship roster last year, even though some people said they were playing very good, right? But my thing is that you think that all right, well, you don't got you added DeAndre Ayton to that same roster, and that's what you think the big move is. I don't see it. And I think that the tricky part about that though is that LeBron opted into his player option, and that's where it's like, well, are you really trying? Are you comfortable with not winning? Because LeBron James has never signed long-term deals, and he's always put the pressure on with his contracts for you to always be competing. And it feels like, bro, that this is the end. I think that LeBron is going to play out the rest of the contract with the Lakers, and I don't think he's going to go for a trade. I think that he's going to ride it out, and that's going to be he's going to take off. There's no way you can opt into your contract with this team and think we're going to go ahead and compete, and they're not even in position to put anybody around him. So unless you thought that DeAndre Ayton was the missing piece, maybe. But I don't think that he's that guy. And I think for that, it doesn't seem like LeBron is I think he's gonna be content, bro, with just right. I would love nothing more than to see LeBron get another ring, though, bro. But not at the expense of OKC necessarily. And so it's like because of that, I don't see this as them beating. I don't see them comfortably beating the Rockets, right? I don't see them comfortably. They struggle with the Nuggets all the time. OKC, I don't see them necessarily beating the Timberwolves. Like I don't, nah, bro. So I don't know, man.
Hey man, we still got a couple of notable people that don't have a home yet. Russ still hasn't been signed. Uh Chris Paul hasn't been signed. Josh Giddey hasn't been signed. Um yeah, there's still
Bro,
a couple.
they said Russ was offered like something stupid, like 100 something million a season to go play over for the Saudi league, though, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, man, listen. If Russ turns that down, part of me would respect the fact that he is in it to win championships. I would have some level of respect for that. But at this juncture in my career, if it were me, all right, bro, I gotta be okay that I can look myself in the mirror and say I gave it everything I have and I just didn't win. But I don't know that I can turn down that kind of money that they say he was being
I
offered.
mean, I get that, but you also though don't know the safety situation about playing over there right now. Because see, even when the WWE go over there, they're going over there to conduct a service and then they're leaving. You know what I'm saying? But you look at like what happened to, I think what puts a bad taste in people's mouths about stuff like that in countries like that would be the Brittany Griner situation. And grant again, she didn't go to Saudi, but I'm just saying that does raise a level of concern. And you know, if Russ still feels like he can contribute at a high level to a team and he still want wants to be in contention to try to win an NBA championship, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think that the big thing is I don't believe that he actually would. I don't think he ever did receive it. But what they said was this: it would be a 3 year, $150 million deal. And listen, bro. I don't think that the safety thing is. I think that that part is overdone to me. Saudi Arabia. So I think that because what was old dude, the soccer dude who just went on over there, got wild money. He got like
Cristiano
150 a
Ronaldo,
year. Ronaldo got
178,
a yeah, 178
178.
million dollars. Yeah, for a year, and he seemed like he is perfectly fine, right? So, and listen, I don't think that nobody necessarily looked at him like he was like he was selling out the
Yeah,
Euro leagues over there, or
but he's also
nah.
returning to a team that he's already played for, though. What I'm saying is the Saudi again. I'm not saying there is a danger, but I'm saying Saudi also has. It's almost like what they did with golf, right? When the PGA was kind of losing its luster, and then a bunch of the PGA guys went and played for Saudi. I think it would be the same, similar to that. I'm not suggesting that it's going to be unsafe. I'm just saying that is a new thought in your mind of what happened to Brittany Grinder, right? And so, my thing is that though they're trying to get their basketball league up. It was kind of the same rumor we heard about them offering Bronny and LeBron a contract before Bronny got signed to the NBA. You know what I'm saying? We heard that was it $90 million?
Man. If you Bronny like this, pops, let's get this, let's get that, bro. Because you look at it though, bro. If they offered them $90 million as a pair to go over there this year, LeBron he just opted into $50 million and he's not gonna win a championship, right? And so my thing is that how different would it be though for you to accept $90 million for a year or 2 years when and you're not gonna win the NBA? Like I don't really see the Lakers roster as currently constructed as a championship team, though, bro. And I think that for that reason, even if you're Russ, you got to go and you got to go and join one of those teams, though, that are going to be up there. So I don't know, man. Like I think that it'll be interesting. I hope Russ, you know what? I hope Russ either goes back to the Nuggets or I hope that he goes to Golden State. You might as well go ahead and go with one. Well, actually, no, I don't want to see him go to Golden State because I don't want him to be associated with any move like that Kevin Durant did.
Yeah, but
So with that being said,
the difference is Golden State didn't just whoop Denver and then he went and
yeah,
joined Golden State. Like
that's true.
he's a free
Yeah, that's
agent and has the opportunity to do it. And you know what I'm saying? If Golden State feels like Russ would help them, then I wouldn't have an issue with that.
I don't want to see him on a sorry team. And I think that
Neither.
at least the Warriors would be competing for a playoff spot. Like, I don't want to see him go to the Kings. The Kings are rebuilding now.
Yeah,
And
but
so I think I don't,
they
that
got
would be a weird
rebuild it, bro.
they got they got DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, and I don't think that they're going to keep.
Sabonis.
And I think they're going to trade. I think they always this is my thing though. I don't think that they're that far removed from letting go one of those. I would be very surprised.
They already are
if
on
we
the
go
market.
free.
They have DeMar DeRozan floating out there, but nobody's
Yeah,
biting.
so so I like I said, that makes sense to me that if you already done traded Fox, and I saw something that said that they were talking about doing a Malik Monk to the Warriors, and that's a team that I would love to see them do because then you still have that bridge once you figure out Kaminga. Because here's the thing, I personally would trade Kaminga for Malik Monk because I like Malik Monk that much, though, right? I would let him go. He's a proven commodity, bro. He's like, to me, instant offense. To me, Malik Monk is almost like having an athletic Jamal Crawford come off the bench, or you can start him though, bro. So I don't know, man. It's a lot to still to be said out here though, bro, in these free agency streets. But I don't know. I think so far the best deal, I guess it gotta be the Rockets so far. Kevin Durant, the best one.
I think the teams that's winning right now in free agency is, and I know you're not going to agree with one. I get it. But it's Houston, it's Denver, and it's the Hawks. All of them have put themselves in a better position, in my opinion.
I can see that. I can see that. Listen, the Hawks. This is my thing. I just wonder how long are the Hawks going to hold on to Trae Young and it being the Trae Young show, because Atlanta loves Trae Young, bro. Loves Trae Young.
So does the coach.
Unlike any other person. Yeah, well, yeah.
The coach loves Trae Young.
Yes.
He speaks so
Yes.
high.
Yeah, I think that Atlanta loves him. But this Josh Smith was the last time I saw Atlanta love a player like this, and it's because Josh Smith is from Atlanta, though, right? So I don't know, bro. It's interesting though, man.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Uh, so Nelly and Ashanti have a
Ashanti.
show on Peacock, and I think it's an 8 episode series. I haven't got a chance to watch it yet. I'm very interested in seeing it. But a clip that came out of the show recently has been of controversy because Nelly basically said, listen, until the baby can say I'm hungry or I need to my diaper need to be changed or I need to go to the bathroom, then you pretty much on your own. Like I ain't changing no diapers. I'm not doing this. He also said, I will put as many nannies as you want around you, but as far as that first phase, I that's just not me. But once the kid is able to speak a little bit and do whatever, and I'm paraphrasing, but then that's when I'm gonna be more involved. And a lot of people took some issue with that. What's your thoughts?
So this is my thing. I guess if you got the money, we always talk about that. If that's your lifestyle and that's your money, that's you could do whatever is convenient for you, do what you can afford. Okay, with that being said, I personally don't. And maybe it's that, like you said, that's like how on uh Coming to America, how the dad was like, "Yeah, I just remember like yesterday when I ordered them to change your diaper." Right? It's like it's cool, but I'm gonna be honest with you though, bro. I think part of my issue is my personal experience with this, though. Right? Like this is the weird part for me as a dad. I think that part of my bond with my son started with me changing his diapers, though. Right? And I say that because I still remember, bro, when I used to when I would wake him up, right? And when I would wake him on up, and my son was like, you didn't know he pooped on himself, right? You basically had to just find out because he would never cry like that, though, right? And so it's like every time I would change his diaper, it's like we had this almost like a play moment. It was almost like it's like for him, it's like it's weird because I've always been like the fun parent, probably, right? And for and I know that the research department hates but it's true that I've been the funner one from him from day one. But I think that my role with him and that aspect of him started with that for me, though, right? And it was almost like when we always made the changing diapers one of those things as like a me and him kind of fun moment or whatever. So almost like every time when I would have to change his diaper, he would take that as a moment, his eyes would light on up, and it's like been our thing. And so I think that for me personally, I don't think that my relationship with him would be the same if I didn't have that moment. And that's maybe it could have. But it so for me, it's kind of whack though, man. It's like, especially with that being my only son. Now, I don't know for Nelly if he got other kids or if he just has that experience where he's like, nah. But I think that for me though, man, yeah, it's one of those things that when I signed up to be a parent, bro, that was one of the things that I personally wanted to do. Look forward to it. So it's like I personally leaned into it though, man. So I think it's kind of corny, but I guess if you got the money, nothing is corny. It's just it's just a cost. So yeah.
I didn't find it corny. I'm on board with what you said in the beginning. Yo, it's whatever your household is. Like if that's the understanding and she's choosing to have kids with him, knowing that whatever you do in your house is on you. Again, I am one of those parents that is hands on that, but that was a thing for me. For instance, my dad, when Charlie was in the NICU, he was like, nah, she a little too little for me to hold. And I get it. And him and Charlie's relationship is still good. That's still Pawpaw. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to remember our kids don't remember you changing their diapers like that. All these big lavish first birthdays and stuff that people do for their kids don't remember that. You know what I'm saying? The kid, I ain't never know Charlie, come here, Daddy. I just remember when you used to change my diaper when I was a kid. The bond that you're talking about is something that you remember. And so
And that's important to me. It is important for me to remember. And so this is my thing. It's important for me to remember because those are conversations that I still have with him, and there's no way he would remember that, right? But
Right.
it's still it's the fact that I still want it. It was important for me that at some point I had this conversation with him that
Right.
he would know. No, I'm day one.
I get that. But what I'm saying is this: kids remember you being there. So my
Yes.
thing is that was Nelly present? Yes. Did he change the
And,
diaper? No. He hired
and I'm
somebody
not
to do that. And I
and
don't
I'm not gonna say that it makes him any less of a dad. Like I'm
exactly.
not dad. Yeah, it's not gonna
I,
make me
I
more
think
like on my dad stuff than him, but I get it.
so that's where I'm saying I think because that's important to you, there's nothing wrong with that. But because that's not important to him, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that either. I
That's
think that
true.
to each his own. Like the things that's gonna be important to him is like when my kids are able to communicate, I'm there. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be present because kids, that's what they remember. Was my dad when birthdays was coming up? Was he there? Or was he always on tour? Or when my basketball games, was he in the crowd cheering me on? Like those things matter to the kids, and whatever matters to the parents is again, there's nothing wrong with that. I
Right,
feel like
right.
to each his own. If that works for your household, and again, if Ashanti knows that and she's willing to still give him a child, and that's the type of relationship they have, then who am I to be like, nah, I think that's corny or that's whack? You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that bond is established at a later time for the child more so than it is for the kid,
I
for
guess
the
to
adult.
me it was like a big thing. To me, it's like feeding it, feed like I wanted to feed my son. Yeah, I want to feed my baby. I don't want to like, you know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. I want to bathe my child, though, bro. Those were things that I look forward to, and those were things that were important to me. And
Mhm.
so if he's saying, hey, I got money, man, all I know is when I'm holding my baby, he clean and fresh. You know what I'm saying? Then I guess if you can skip all the other stuff and go straight to the front of the line, I guess so be it though, man. But I think that the process and those steps were a big deal to me, though, man. And like I said, it probably is because I only have one kid though, bro. So I guess if you got four, you know what I'm saying, you done did it before. It's like, nah, it's an overrated experience, man.
Yeah,
But for me, I had to be all in though, man, for every step along the way.
yeah, yeah. Well, bruh. I mean, we kind of hit everything.
Yeah, yeah.
What you got up for the week?
Man, so this week, what I got this week? Oh man, so that's the funny thing about it. So supposedly now I'm supposed to have some folks that's gonna come in the studio this week though. So that'll be interesting to see. I'm actually looking forward to getting back to recording. So I have been working on some tracks and everything like that. And now, so with my creative process, it's a longer process, and it's always such that either I'm working on production or I'm rapping and recording and everything like that, or doing something else. It's never like simultaneously. So
Right.
now that I've made some beats and everything, been riding to and everything, got a couple songs that I'm gonna try to put some scratch recordings down to. And so yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to, getting back to the lab and actually doing some fresh new songs. While also listening to that Here for a Good Time though, bro. What about you?
So I've finally finished all of my open video editing that I needed to do. So that's a blessing. This week, bro, I'm gonna be starting my tweaks for the album, and because now that I have that time, my thing is I knew after the 4th of July is when it was gonna ramp up for me because I was trying to finish all my projects prior to the holidays. So yeah, now the push is that I got the State Fair performance coming up, so gonna be trying to build the set for that. Get Charlie all ramped up because she's gonna probably do both of her songs at the event this year. So yeah, just now, like I said, just making tweaks and stuff, getting the album finished up so I can be like you and drop a project.
Hey man, I got another one. I got another one that's lined up. And the more and more I'm thinking about it though, bro, the more I'm falling in love with the idea of doing EPs though, man.
Yeah,
Doing like little capsules. And it seemed like I got a bunch of songs that I was like that I like that aren't necessarily flowing with the overall album. I think I'm putting out everything though, man. So definitely more music though.
what I was gonna say, one thing I did want to mention. Have you seen the Pharrell Lego movie?
I've only heard about it, but I haven't seen it. No.
Bro, it's finally on Netflix and it is fire. Like, to know the type of creative brain that he has, you see why he did it in this format to release a quote unquote biography ish, type of, instead of it just being a documentary. This was more of a creative way, and when you know his creative mind, you understand why it was done in this way. It's phenomenal. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I know Charlie like popped in and kind of was like, "Oh, I didn't know he did that song, or I didn't know he did that." But for me and Sarah, it was just like going down memory lane, like, "Oh, I forgot about this. Oh, I forgot about that."
Wow.
And it's phenomenal, bro. I definitely would highly recommend you check it out, especially
I'm
for
not gonna lie. Part of the reason why I didn't see it right away is that it just seemed like it's Lego. So I'm thinking like kiddie movie, trolls. That's kind of what I was.
I mean, I get that, but it's not. Even though that is the case, it's because there are elements, but I'm saying it's still adult. You know what I'm saying? Like it's still it. I mean, the Lego movies typically are like they end up having a bunch of adult humor, but this, like I said, it's more about just a story told in a different way. Not really like this isn't like the Minions. You know what I'm saying? This is, like I said, it's the Lego movie. It has Lego elements, of course, but the story though is really just him telling how he got from this point to this point, and it's just told in a creative way, man. That's really
yeah.
so.
Now I wouldn't mind checking it out though, bro. I think that for the most part, like I said, I always thought that it was just like a kid movie, like Minions.
Yeah. I would definitely say check it out though. But anyway, we are the Slash Brothers. Join us every Tuesday at 6 Central Standard Time, 7 Eastern Standard Time, and we will see y'all on the next one from ATL to OKC. We are the Slash Brothers. We'll see you next time.
If you smell
The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
Can you
of
dig
all
it,
time.
sucker?